You know, when I'm at home at night and I'm thinking, how can we make things better? How can we improve? I'm thinking of small little details such as this. People can be looking outside, you know, you can kind of, you know, hear the thing. Oh, see, you're recording me. I didn't get hurt, everything is good. Gorgeous, gorgeous garage. That could beautiful way to add more space to your property and add more value while doing so. Can I get my money reimbursed? No, you cannot, sir, because CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, is gonna ask me for this. Multiplex conversions aren't as easy as you might think they are. They're more complicated than building a standard custom home. But if you guys have any questions, any problems, concerns, please let me know. We're here to work with you.
The only thing.
Okay, no, got it. The snow is obviously gone, so we're gonna clean up all of this. This is all gonna be cleaned up, no problem. And we're gonna get this fence gone as well. The weather's been bad, it's been horrible. So we haven't had the chance to rip out this tile. We're gonna rip this out at some point and advise the clients that they have to finish this off somehow, maybe epoxy, maybe flagstone, you know. So where's the key at now? Okay. How it works over here, guys, is that front door here leads to the unit on the second floor. You'll come inside right now. You'll see you're going to be greeted by this wonderful closet where you can, you know, very spacious. You can hang your winter coats, hang your stuff, and that is cordoned off now. It used to be access to the main level, being cordoned off. Nice, modern, clean, linear. We've created 2 bedrooms here, 3-piece bathroom. Everyone's got their own remote control for their own heating and cooling, which is a great feature. Like imagine, you know, living on the second floor of an older home. When you don't have this unit here, see, every room's got this. When you don't have this, you're living in this room. What if someone outside is kind of, you know, like he doesn't want the AC, but you want the AC. Your body temperature, you run hot. Me, I run hot, so I need cooling. Maybe someone runs cool, they want heating. So this is giving you the ultimate luxury, more so than even in some custom homes where you have your own individual control by the room. It comes in different brands and models. Panasonic is one of the good brands. We opt for Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi is definitely the market leader. They've been doing it for the very longest time. Here, the space saving and the design is just so miraculous that, you know, look at that. Full-size washer dryer, guys. It's full size. And we're able to achieve running a 200 amp service because we're running off a gas dryer. It's tempered glass, right? So tempered glass, and I mean, again, you can be taking a shower. People can be looking outside. You know, you can kind of, you know, hear the thing. Okay, guys. Now, what we would do is we're probably gonna frost this. So we're in the basement now of this property. Again, beautiful kitchen. The kitchen is matching with the floors really well. That's what we intended it to do. Gas stoves, you've got your own dedicated panel, of course, for this specific unit. You've got the heat pumps with the remotes there. You've got the fridge, nice full-size fridge. You've got your tankless system. We've upgraded the client to tankless to save space. Difference between the tankless system and the hot water tank system is that the hot water tank system costs a little bit, you know, less. This costs more, however, this is more higher efficiency. A higher efficiency because you're not really having a tank that's storing your water and keeping it boiling and keeping it hot at all times. Like all times, even if you're not using it, it's just keeping that water at a certain temperature. Here, this heats the water on demand. So you turn on the faucet, it'll heat on demand and supply the water as required. So it's basically energy saving. It's of course space saving. So we go with this kind of a model in majority of our projects that you'll see as we finish the projects. Oh, see, you're recording me. I didn't get hurt. Everything is good. You can put that on radio. But yeah, you see the height? There's a bulkhead here that couldn't have been avoided. And because they don't have underpinning, like it's so easy for someone like me, because I'm tall, 6'3", to kind of, you know, hit my head on this thing. So again, a small, tiny bedroom. The height, guys, really makes a difference. Go with the underpinning model. Go with the underpinning option of the plexcon construction. It really saves the day, as you guys can see. And I have to bend down. Look at this, right? So, whoa. Here it's a little bit better. You got a little bit better height, but you know. So anyhow, guys, this is it. But they're very bright. One more thing as well. These pot lights, you may or may not like them, but they really, you know, this doesn't feel like a basement anymore with all the lights here. You've got some nice natural light coming out of here as well with the new window. But the pot lights make a big difference. It really brightens up, you know, the living, especially in a basement where it's supposed to be back in the days dark and gloomy and scary. This is not scary. This is not, you know, nothing like that. It is low heights, obviously, but because of the pot lights, we've definitely made a huge impact in terms of the living space. We're standing at the back of the property. You've got a gorgeous, gorgeous garage that could, you know, I'm drooling over it. It could literally be converted to a garden suite. I'm literally salivating over this thing here, guys. Wow, sexy. You've got a perfect concrete block on the walls. This is very solid structure. You don't have to do anything with the structure. You just have to run your services, run the hydro, run the heat pump, run the plumbing, and you can have a beautiful studio suite. Ta-da! Oh, the walls are very new. Look at the walls. I mean, they're new. The concrete block walls are fairly new. This garage must have been built after the fact. The home was built first. The garage was built after the fact. It's sharing a party wall with the neighbor's home, or neighbor's garage next door, rather. Structurally, it's very sound. You've got a very nice high ceiling. You can look up to the ceiling over there as well. It's a very high ceiling. So what I would do is I'll just frame around here, you know, put all your mechanicals, electricals, plumbing in here. Because of fact of, you know, the zoning bylaw restrictions in this specific property, and we've already checked that as well for our client, because the client inquired about, you know, potentially adding another story on top. So unfortunately, they can't add another story on top for this garden suite. They can only use the existing, and they may be able to expand a little bit or towards this side. They can actually add a little bit of an expansion, so they can make it quite a lot bigger. But again, the cost versus reward, it's not worth it. My recommendation for a client or someone like yourself that's watching this video, and you've got a similar situation, a similar setup where you've got a garage like this, I would recommend keeping the existing structure and converting that to a garden suite. Get the rental income or turn it into an accessory suite for maybe your in-laws or guests that come over. It's a beautiful way to add more space to your property and add more value while doing so. A fire rated window. And you'll see right over here the rating. It talks about 45-minute fire rating. So this is a fire rating wire mesh glass. It doesn't really afford you a lot of insulation or a lot of R value because it doesn't have argon gas inside it for this specific model. But it gives you the 45-minute fire rating that the city is asking us to do and comply with. The city can ask you to keep this kind of a window on certain situations, such as, for example, let's just say if this was not fire rated and now you've got the access to, if you go out here, it's going to impede access for the person that's coming out of the basement. You can get one without the wire mesh, but the cost is, I would say, at least 5x more than what this is, basically. So it's a lot more money. The fire-rated glass, also, let's talk a little bit more about it while we go inside. It comes in different ratings. You can also get a fire-rated glass that's 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. They come in all different types of ratings that are available, and it just depends on what the city is asking or requiring you to put into your specific project. Clients opted for this nice groove design. It's a hollow core door that we use. This is not a custom home product or custom product with luxury. We've gone with the vinyl floors, nice white oak looking vinyl floors. You've got the matching vinyl veneer that's applied on this kitchen door. You've got the nice porcelain countertops. We're going to be installing lights here, under cabinet lights. And you've got the full porcelain backsplash upgrade this client has asked for. It's a full backsplash upgrade. The typical standard practice is just to go with a small baseboard option, or clients can go with tiles in the back. Majority of our plexcon projects are standard with full backsplash with either quartz or porcelain. The difference between the porcelain and the quartz is that with the porcelain, you just get a much nicer feel. You get a much nicer design that you can see. It doesn't have the dot, 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 dot that you see on the quartz. In the quartz, you'll see when you look close enough, you'll see a lot of small dots over there. So we've added an edge over here ourselves. We kind of created this edge, but it is a very thin profile. The porcelain itself is very thin, very sleek, very modern. We're dealing with an existing drywall situation. We never changed the drywall. We just added a piece of drywall on top of the existing drywall. We had to add some receptacles on the floor. You're probably wondering why we have receptacles on the floor, because with certain electrical codes we have to follow, you have to have a certain amount of receptacles on a certain wall at any given time. So here, we didn't want to put the receptacle on the wall. It was just too much work and it was not feasible. We've installed it on the floor, basically. So essentially you can, you know, they're gonna have to obviously get this all set up, but you have two outlets right over here on the floor. Plexcon Construction does at all times, we have to kind of work with certain kind of appliance models that work with the flow. So we could have gone with a smaller fridge, not as tall, but then you're really limiting in terms of how much storage space that this family is going to have. It's a 2-bedroom suite. So we wanted to make sure that the family that's going to rent this place has ample storage in the fridge. Therefore, we went with a slim line, but it's tall. Not the slim line that's small. But they opted for the better model because a couple $100 more you spend on this fridge will get you a lot more on the rental overall, because it does make a difference, guys. If you have a mini fridge here versus a full-size fridge, big difference. Come in, you're at the vendor, you're pumping gas. How hard is it, boys, to, snap a photo? I'm sure a lot of you guys are watching this. Maybe you're working for PlexCon and maybe you're not. But I'm still at the vendor, I'm still pumping gas. Here you go, right? You don't leave until you snap the receipt, send it to your admin staff. Like a lot of the people, they think that, you don't need a receipt to reimburse. Hey, I have my credit card bill. It shows that I bought gas. Can I get my money reimbursed? No, you cannot, sir. Because CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, is going to ask me for this. So we need this from the vendor in order for you to get reimbursed.
Tina, the thing out here, last time you were there, we hadn't done these resilient channels, had we? No. So the resilient channels are in. The fire-rated insulation is in right over here in the middle, okay? You've got the boxing that we've done already with the metal framing. The boxing we do in metal because it keeps things very straight, the line is very straight. If you were to imagine, a lot of builders, a lot of GCs, they go with wood, build a box with wood. Wood is great, it's quick, it saves money because the material is cheaper and it's faster to do than metal. But we prefer to do it with metal because you just get a nicer, cleaner line, metal straight, with the wood. Wood's a natural product. Regardless of whatever it is, you're going to find pieces that are going to be, kind of like jaggedy a little bit, so to keep things straight, consistent, sharp, we go with metal. So that's done. Plumbing is done. The plumbing inspection is passed. The HVAC inspection is passed. We've got the ERB unit here because now this is one big unit. This entire floor is one unit. So because of that, we have a lot of space there. So we've added the HRB unit, this one is an HRB, this is an HRB. We've added the HRB here in the closet. As we walk towards this direction, you'll notice we've kind of sistered the studs here because for fire separation purposes, the engineer had asked us to add a sister stud with metal next to the wooden stud. Just what they asked for, and we've done it as per, the engineer's request. Everything's existing. Even this part over here, this is existing. But what had happened here, what I suspect what happened here is that the previous owner that owned the bungalow, they might have done an addition at some point in their lifetime because it's a little bit, this looks a little bit nearer, right? So as you go over here, every time teaching you guys something, right? So you got to learn something. The reason why we feel this bungalow is so much bigger than your typical bungalow is because the previous owner had already done the addition maybe 30, 40 years ago. You see the one over here, this is the older style stud that they used to use back in the days. You might have seen this from one of our other previous projects, right? So this is the old stuff. Now here, this is where they start the new stuff. You can see the separation right away from the old to the new. Again, this isn't 10 years old. Maybe it is. We don't know. We'll talk a little bit more about the fire separation. Okay, now, again, a lot of you guys are critics in the videos. You guys are watching these videos. You guys are like, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. Guys, please understand, we're filming this video for educational purposes only. This is during the stage of the construction. By no means am I saying that it's fully passed, it's ready to go. No, we're still in the middle of the construction. You might notice, okay, there's some, for example, air seal missing above that window. Well, hey guys, that's fine and dandy because I never said that that's done. We still have to come back and deal with that. So we're in the middle of construction. Now let's talk about the fire separation here, right? So how we have to do the fire separation, how we achieve the fire separation is that you might have noticed that we have this drywall installed here. A portion of the drywall is already installed, and we've talked about this in our previous videos as well. Why do we have this drywall installed beforehand? Why didn't we install the drywall everywhere? Why are we doing the drywall this way? Isn't this going to cost more to do drywall partially than to do the whole drywall? Yes, it does cost more. And that's why multiplex conversions aren't as easy as you might think they are. They're more complicated than building a standard custom home. A lot more complicated. So we've got to come in on one stage to add this so that this will allow us the ability to run our ductwork right underneath the fire separation wall. The fire separation wall assembly you can see now, you can already see, again, you're looking at this video, you'll probably say this is not, this is not done. Yes, this is not done. You've got the resilient channel, you've got the 2 sheets of 5/8 drywall, and then underneath it, you've got your ductwork. You have to add the ductworks, the pipes, and everything below the fire separation line. That's why we've run the drywall in sections where we know that we have to run our pipe work, our duct work. You'll see it over there as well. We're doing the same thing over there. Now over here
If you're a plumber, you're probably watching this and like, okay, you're missing a fire collar. Hell yeah, I'm missing a fire collar. I never said it was done, right guys? So we're gonna install a fire collar over here as well. We've got this box here. We've got the double sheet strip drywall here so we can run whatever we've got to run in terms of ductwork. Same thing here. You've got the double sheets of drywall. You've got the HRV underneath the double sheet of drywall so that you have the clear fire separation between the system and the ceiling. So that's why, guys, it's an educational video for you guys. This is why it's done the way it's done. Laser precision. This bathroom, we've dropped the ceiling, but with metal studs, it's really clean. And you can tell the quality of the builder when they're using the extra care, the extra attention to detail that Plexcon Construction does when building out the boxes even. We're not compromising on that quality that our clients expect of Plexcon Construction. The reason why we have this drywall here with the fire separation on this entire wall is because that's the staircase leading to the second story. So you obviously don't want to be in a situation where, let's just say the ground floor, God forbid, catches on fire, right? And now you've got someone upstairs, they're kind of, scrambling. They can't even come down because their stairwell's on fire. Well, the entire stairwell area is enclosed in that 45-minute fire-rated wall. So that'll then ensure that there's enough time for whoever's living upstairs to escape, essentially. And you can see it from this side as well, right? And I'll let the gentleman film from that other side, but you can see how this is all layered up. We're going to also add double sheets of 5/8 drywall on this side. We're going to double it up. We've added it on that side, doubled it. We're going to double it up, even though the drawings are not calling for it. The drawings are only calling for us to add it on one side, but we at Plexcon Construction double it up on both sides. So we're going to have 2 there and 2 there. You can see the electricians have made a huge progress. All the boxes have been more or less installed. I was just one guy working today, half day, and he was able to achieve that much. So it's pretty good. Now here, we don't need to put the resilient channels, fire installations, and all that stuff on the 3rd floor. The reason being, we don't have another story above us. So because it's just a roof, you don't need to have any fire protection layers here. So the 3rd floor is less complicated and easier to do, and it's typical traditional construction that we would do in, say, a residential dwelling or a single family home. There's no need for that resilient channel or fire separation up here. Again, continuation of the boxes though, we are using Bailey, one of the best brands in the market for steel. A lot of builders, oftentimes what they do is behind the walls, our clients are not going to know we're using Bailey here. No one's looking behind the walls. No one really cares, right? But it's the attention to the finer details. Like even the box, the client doesn't care we're building it out of metal or building it out of wood, but we care. At Plexcon Construction, we do care. We care about these little things. When I'm at home at night and I'm thinking, how can we make things better? How can we improve? I'm thinking of small little details such as this, right? And I'm thinking of using a brand that everyone trusts. It's a national brand that everyone trusts. They've been in the business for a very long time. They're very reputable. And that's why to save 20% of the cost, that might not have all the licensing, might not have all the, compliances. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. But I'd rather work with a brand that's trusted for, nationwide.